In 2024, when I started my agency, my sales was terrible. And there are a lot of gurus online for you to learn sales from: Alex Hormozy, Grant Cardone, Jeremy Miner. The person that I would say really taught me the most in 2024 was Jeremy Miner's sales techniques, the questions that he asked. And then later this year, I learned from Johnny Mel. And that was a true game changer. But before that, to really even kickstart and start my agency, I implemented the sales process that I learned from Jeremy Miner. And so in this video, we're struggling to sell AI. Watch closely. We're going to go over the exact questions that allowed me to scale my agency and sell automations to businesses and scale to $50,000 per month or more. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand the same logic and framework and the same questions to ask your prospects when you're in your next AI agency sales calls. So, what is Jeremy Miner's sales process? Probably heard it's known as NEPQ. So what is NEPQ? NEPQ is neuro emotional persuasion. Very fancy word for something that doesn't really mean anything on the onset. But what is it? So Jeremy splits a call into different phases, right? So it's a 9-phase thing. And in the connection phase, it's a connection phase where you're getting to learn more about the prospect, right? So in the connection phase, you focus on the prospect, right? What are you looking for? Why are you here, right? The 2, like so think of your sales phase when you're selling an emotion, is you have to give context. You got to find context. Like, hey, I saw you come from one of our paid ads. What brought you here from the paid ads? Like, what particular offer? Right? And then they'll say, oh yeah, like I came from the paid ads, like I was looking at the AI receptionist or something that you're selling to the situation, right? Okay, awesome, man. Then you want to understand what's going on currently. So how do you guys handle calls at your business currently, right? Let's say your offer was a receptionist. How are you handling the calls currently, right? Phase 3 is they need to understand the problem. It was like a bee or something on me. What is the problem? Right, so like, okay, what do you have in place to take calls currently? Okay, you have a receptionist. How's that going, man? Right, how is the receptionist? Are you guys answering all the calls? How many calls do you think you're missing currently? Right. And then the problem awareness is very important. Helping the prospect understand the problems, but also diving deep into it, right? So, okay, you think you guys are only getting 60-70% of the calls, right? What happens after hours? Oh, like that's where none of the calls get answered. Okay, I guess like what with each call, what's your average ticket? Okay, like $300. So, I mean, if we're losing 4 calls per day, I mean, it's at least $400 to $1,200, right? I guess like what's that gonna do for our business 3 months from now if we allow this to continue to happen, right? Like, well, let me tell you about what we do. A lot of the businesses are in a similar situation, and this is what we can do to allow your business to gain, $1,000 to $2,000 per month more per day from our AI automation, right? So now bring them to the solution, but then you only move after you talk about the problem, right? And then phase 5, right? What is the consequence? You don't have to dive into the consequence now, but I dove into the consequence when I was asking them the problem, right? And so they first have to understand that your solution works, right? If I say my AI receptionist I'm going to sell the AI receptionist business, and they don't feel like it's a solution, then you can't even paint what the consequences look like, right? So like, do you feel like if we install this reception in your business and we have 100% answer rate on all your calls, do you feel like that would help your business? Like, how much more revenue do you think we would gain by doing something like this, right? At least a couple grand, like at least 3 to 5 grand per week, right? And I guess like if we continue to lose 3 to 5 grand per week by not doing something like this, what's going to happen to our business, right? Then help them admit to the consequence, right? Like we have them say it, and then we transition into our presentation and solution again, right? So the solution awareness is more so, hey, this is what we have, this is our offer, are you okay with the offer? And then you show them, hey, this is exactly what we want to do. So I feel like this is going to work for you. For your type of business, exactly how we implement it. First week, we install these receptionists, blah, blah, blah. You go through the onboarding process, and then you try to make them commit, right? So yeah, so like once we install your receptionist, it takes like 30 minutes. We can do it right now. And by tomorrow, like literally within tomorrow morning, you'll be up and running, and you're gonna start answering calls within the first 24 hours, and you're gonna be able to see everything here on your dashboard. And it sounds a bit, looking at the numbers, is you'd be able to save $3 to $5 grand per week. Is that something you're ready to do? Right? Is you make the commitment, and then you handle all the objections that they have, right? And so this is the process, right? I use an example of selling a receptionist, but let's dive into exactly how he handles the questions, right? So one of the types of questions that you need to ask, and the way you need to structure the questions that you need to ask, is you need to have connecting questions, right? You want to build rapport and ease into the next part of the conversation. You cannot go from phase 1 to phase 2 without saying things like, hey, yeah, I totally agree, man. It's one of the things that we hear very often with our current clients. And so here's what we do to combat that, right? So you always want to agree and build rapport with prospect. Give them validation that what they're experiencing is completely normal and that you have the solution, right? And then when they give you a very vague answer, you always want to dive into more detail. You know, so if they say, hey man, like it's not going so well. I see, man. What do you mean by like not going so well? Like what does that mean? Like how many deals are you guys losing? Or like what's left on the table, you feel like, right? And then, you know, you can ask things in more detail. Can you walk me through this process? What do you mean by that? Like, can you put it into numbers for me? Curious, what prompted you to take the call, right? You want to connecting questions. The goal is to move from one phase to another, but to dive deeper into their pain points, right? Now, problem awareness questions, right? The goal is to help them recognize what their pains are, right? But also to dive deep into a right answer, right? So they say like, yeah, it's like not going well. And say, oh, what do you mean by like not going well? How long has that? How long you've been experiencing not going well, right? And also, what do you mean by bad? Like what does that mean? Like quantify it. Like you guys aren't getting like how off track are you guys? Like normally you guys 5 deals, you guys are doing 2, or what does that actually look like numbers wise? Okay, and like what's gonna happen if we continue to let this happen and not do anything about it? Like what's gonna happen to the business 3 months from now? Right? Dive deep into the pain and consequence questions, which is exactly what I just did. Is not only, while they might understand that they have a problem and you help them quantify, is they don't know the repercussions of allowing something that they're experiencing continue. What does the opportunity cost look like? Likewise, is the opportunity cost and what's going to actually happen to the business, right? Till the end. Man, like that's such a tough spot to be in. Don't like to look too far, but inevitably that's part of doing business, right? Like what's going to happen if we allow this to continue to happen in the next 3-6 months, and what's going to do for the business if we continue missing calls like this, right? Like obviously, like you're going to lose jobs. The guys, we're not going to have enough jobs. The guys are going to leave, right? You're going to have to sell a truck, right? Your employees, they don't think that you're being a leader, right? But what's that going to, aside from the business, like how are you going to feel personally as a business owner, right? Like you're going to feel demoralized, right? Like your employees are leaving and all those things, right? So solution awareness, right? So the next thing is prompting about potential solutions, ideal outcomes, right? Understanding, hey, like I guess in this time that we've looked at solutions, that's why we're on the call today. Like what have you tried to see to improve, right? What have you tried and how did that go, right? And I guess with what you're looking for, what are the 3 things that would make this perfect, like near perfect solution for you, right? What will the ideal solution look like for you? Like, I mean, like 3 things, right? And the next point is when you're trying to close them, is you want to help them understand and want to understand how ready are they. So I guess like if we were to do this for you, like we'd install this in 30 days, within 12 hours, you'd be getting calls. Like, how, like, would you guys be ready to get started as soon as possible, right? To take the calls, right? How committed are you to improving the business, right? Taking the change to improve the business, right? So the questions would be more so, you feel like this would be something that you're looking for? But if they say, like, do you feel like this would work for you? Then you say, like, I guess, like, well, why would it work? And then you have them self-validated, right? They put some results-based thinking. And then, I guess, I can help you with the numbers and all those aspects. Like, what do you feel like would be the next step from here, right? Where do you feel like we should go from here? So these are the type of questions that you never want to say, like, hey, that's, you never want to ask questions that don't dive into detail, right? For the prospect, you only want to ask questions that actually move a prospect from phase 1 to phase 2. And so these are the exact type of questions that you should be using in your sales calls to move the sale forward, to go from phase 1 to phase 2. So if you want to work with my team to sell AI to businesses for more than $10,000 per month in the next 90 days, book a call with us to see if you're a good fit, and we can help you improve your sales process to sell AI to businesses.